Woman, Mr. Woman cover her hair in a house, part 2. We discussed in the previous year different shitot about the woman in the Rabim, in a Movoy, an area outside of one's home, but it leads to a street which is more connected to Rabim, and then in the Chatzer. We said that those 3 levels that Rav Yosef Karo and the Dr. Moshe speak about, we don't really see halacha l'maisa people following that today. And then we mentioned inside a house where there's no one there, doesn't seem to be machlokim. Bach was stringent in the chatzer, not in the house. Rav Moshe points it out. He doesn't say some sofer. L'maaseh, in this area of tzniut, there's a pasuk Hatznei Lechet, whole sefer called Hatznei Lechet, and there's the din, and then there's tzniut, which may even be, a person wants to be even more machmir than the din. So l'maaseh, each person, each woman, and husband, they should talk it over with their Rav about practice. I'm not talking halacha l'maaseh, what a woman should do, just trying to go over the basic sugya and overview. So we saw that Rav Moshe says that technically speaking, a woman is at home, that's a bayit, that's not a chatzer. Even the bach who is stringent doesn't apply to a bayit. Fine. So Moshe said when there's no one in the house, then in terms of din, there's no problem leaving the hair uncovered. Okay, and as I said, a woman who has always been careful to keep her hair covered in the house at all times. So don't go ahead and say, "Oh, I heard Rav Moshe make. I'm just going to go be lenient now." No, talk it over with the Rav and the husband, and this should not be based on hearing Rav Moshe. A person should now be more lenient. That's not the way it should be brought about. There's a fascinating shaila that comes out from this. If a woman, after discussing with the Rav, leaves her hair uncovered in the home, and let's say when she and her husband are around, a new couple, just she and the husband in the house, no one else in the house, so she leaves her hair uncovered when she gets home. So there's an interesting ramification for Echos Nida, because the halacha is that a woman not supposed to walk around in front of the husband when she's in Nida with areas that are normally covered in her body, and during the time that she's sanua, she shouldn't be that way in front of the husband. So what if she normally leaves her hair uncovered all the time in the house? So it's not a davar mechusa, it's not an area that's covered. So therefore, when she's needed, does she have to cover it? So Rav Moshe Feinstein once again says that from a technical standpoint, if she leaves it uncovered all the time in the house and in front of her husband, so her husband sees it always uncovered when she's not a nida. So that's not defined as a davar mechusa, an area of the body that's covered in front of the husband. And therefore, Moshe says that he doesn't think the category of davar mechusa, when the Shulchan Aruch says that the parts of the body that are normally covered should be covered during when she's in nida, Moshe says, I don't think that means an objective assessment from some other area. It means what practically is covered normally day to day. And if her hair isn't covered in the house, and Moshe says halachically she doesn't need to cover it in the house, especially when there's no one around, just she and her husband, so then that's not a davar mechusa. And then Moshe says she could technically be that way even when she's in need. That's Rav Moshe's psak, as I keep stressing, halacha l'maaseh in terms of psak. Everyone has talked this over with their posek, but this is just Rav Moshe's 2 svaras on this topic. Number 1, that inside, that's not a chatzer and no one is machmi in terms of din. That's the Rishonim, and no one's stringent in terms of this, she has to keep it covered inside. That's something a person would have to talk over the posek. And number 2, that once it's not a davar mechusa, she doesn't keep it covered inside, then even when she's in need, that she wouldn't have to keep it covered in front of her husband, because that's not a davar mechusa, it's not considered a covered area. Shalom.